Today, the 63rd anniversary of the Brown v. Board of Education decision. The Thurgood Marshall Center Trust is holding a fundraising gala to announce a call to action, equal education for all, based on the Brown decision. The late Supreme Court Justice Thurgood Marshall was one of the key strategists in the fight to end school segregation as a civil rights lawyer with an NAACP Legal Defense and Education Fund. In fact, he was the one who presented the case for the Supreme Court. According to a new GAO report, it shows the number of high-poverty schools serving black or brown students nearly doubled, growing from 9 to 16% between 2001 and 2014. Marshall's widow, Cecilia, expressed disappointment in what we are seeing today, with courts allowing some schools to remain segregated. She told the Los Angeles Sentinel, "We haven't made too much progress. 63 years later, we're still fighting in the courts for equal treatment, and that's not what my husband nor I would have imagined would be going on today." Joining us to discuss this with the status of the school segregation, Thomasina Yearwood, President and CEO of the Thurgood Marshall Center Trust. Also Ben Chavis, President of the National Newspaper Publishers Association. Thomasina, first and foremost, when you look at this, so look, schools are really based upon neighborhoods.
Yes,
and so if our neighborhoods are segregated, which are also based upon income, our schools are going to be segregated.
That's right.
How do we change it?
We have to keep moving forward. As Mrs. Marshall has stated, we can't give up. She's very strong in terms of continuing the legacy of Thurgood Marshall, and we just cannot give up on this situation.
Ben, look, you got a lot of black folks who are saying, look, I don't give a damn about this. I want to focus on getting our kids educated. I don't care if they're sitting in all black classrooms. And I mean, a lot more folks are having that viewpoint.
Well, I think that Black America has a right to demand equal high quality education for all students, but particularly for black students. And one of the reasons why today is so important, Roland, earlier you had the video of the police brutality. We don't see videos of what's going on in the public schools of America today. The truth is, it's 63 years since the Brown decision, and the schools are resegregating. And that is why the National Newspaper Publishers Association, we're joining with the Thurgood Marshall Center for this event this evening. So pleased that Mrs. Marshall, Mrs. Sister Marshall, will be there this evening. But I want to just go to your point, Roland. This is about equity of resources, equity of facilities. One of the reasons why Thurgood Marshall worked so hard to get the Brown decision in 1954 was because it was inequitable. It was not only that the schools were segregated, but the black schools were not getting the resources that the white schools were getting. We were not getting the preparation, and therefore it created an educational gap. Now, since 1954, racism in the public school system is still alive. They attract people in the school system. Blacks are still not getting a fair chance, a fair opportunity in equal education. And that's the issue on this 63rd anniversary.
But Thomasina, okay, so you're raising money with the gala, but to do what? So what exactly are you planning to do to change this?
Well, what we're doing now, we're going to launch a Thurgood Marshall Society program, and that is going to work with young African American youth in terms of where they need to be today to be successful.
Right, we want our young people, Roland, to strive for excellence. We need to encourage our young people. And we can't just lament the fact that there's still racial discrimination. We have to overcome it. And the way we overcome it is that we make sure that every child, not some children, but every child in our community has an equal fair chance to get the best possible education in the world, because education is the key to freedom.
I want to go to our panel here, Greg. I mean, look, again, our neighborhoods are segregated, which means our schools will be segregated.
That's right. Everybody should read Richard Rothstein's new book, The Color of Law. He says this isn't just about decisions. This thing has been unconstitutional since the end of the Civil War. And then what you see in the Brown, for example, 10 years after Brown, nobody had desegregated. The court comes back in, and you have a window between 1965 and Swan versus Charlotte Mecklenburg where you see some progress. Then there's this long retreat, Milliken versus Bradley in Detroit. The Supreme Court would not let them chase the money outside the Detroit city limits because they said, well, those people moved out there. It is residential. This thing is held in place by money and by law. And until we address it as a legal issue and as a policy issue, we'll be back here 63 years talking about this again.
I'm following you, Roland.
Ben, 1 second, go ahead.
I'm following you because now we're starting to see gentrification. As we see gentrification, we're starting to see some of the schools change. We know that education flows with the money. So part of it is at a bigger level, we have to look at what solutions do we have, but then also at a more micro level, why are we choosing to live in the neighborhoods that we choose to live in?
And we're choosing to live in those neighborhoods, which goes to economics, goes to jobs, and what you're actually earning. Spencer.
Boundaries of race, getting to Greg's point, this notion of suburban lines basically separating people and insulating people in terms of resources, tax base, etc. That's something we've got to overcome.
So, quick comment.
Well, there's a simple way to free people from going to the schools if their zip codes, and that's through an educational savings account system, getting rid of this versions of the Blaine amendments that are in upwards of 20 states, and let parents choose where their kid is going to go with that money. It's not a voucher. It's a different.
Except what you just saw in Alabama, where a judge is allowing these white parents to create their own school system because they don't want their kids going to schools with black kids. The same thing is happening. We saw the pullout of the folks when they went to the county system in Memphis. There, what did they do? Oh no, we're going to create our own school system, and we've seen examples of that. Thomasina, real quick, what is your website for folks to get more information?
Our website is tmcsh.org.
A peaceful protest turned deadly. 37-year-old black man was shot and killed by Baton Rouge police. His hands are in the air, and you still get shot by the cops.
Oh my God, please don't tell me he's dead.
We're not gonna let hate define us.
Race is a big part of this.
If truly all lives matter, then all lives need to matter equally. What we require is action. What we require is accountability. We understand that black lives do matter, and we will keep focused on this issue.
NewsOne Now, every weekday morning at 7 on TV1.